Oh, there I am. I'm on my own tonight. I didn't put my camera on. I'm on my own tonight. Which I guess Geo was last night or last week, so that evens out. But we're gonna go ahead and don't look at my Squidward painting. Look at my manga. we're gonna go over some cool stuff, I guess, in this night that y'all have me by myself. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Of course, hi. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here and hanging out. I'm going to do our sponsor thing real quick so I can stop sounding awkward, but there's that. The thing at the bottom, instocktrades.com. Let me pull up the site like Geo does. Instocktrades.com, the sponsor of our show, where you can get all your comics and manga for great prices with great shipping and all that jazz. Royalty discount of an extra 2% off if you keep ordering week by week. All that stuff. I've been ordering from IST for over a decade now. We've been sponsored by them for almost as long. They're great. Some hiccups right now with some of their manga offerings, of course, but once they get all of that stuff figured out with, because that's all just distributor boo-boo that needs to get worked out. Let me share the screen so we can look as Geo does at, I don't want to share it like that. Now you can see all my tabs and stuff. No, stop. Okay, let me try again. Chrome tab. Select a tab. It doesn't want to work the way that I want it to. I obviously didn't prepare very well for this one. Whatever. I'll just share it. You can see my tabs. So yeah, there's the oh my god, recursion. That's not what I wanted to show. What the hell? It did the wrong one. I haven't done a solo live stream in a while. Anyway, there we go. Instocktrades.com. Right now, their deals of the week. We have one manga, Ado Volume 8, and then a bunch of different comics, including the DC Finest Justice League of America Return, Justice League Unlimited, hardcover and paperback Volume 1. And then Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone, paperback Volume 2, The Dark Artery. That sounds like something my doctor would tell me about. Anyway, going down into new releases, of course, there are some new manga that came out this week, including some favorites such as Apothecary Diaries. This is the novel, actually. Dangers in My Heart. I know Gio's a big fan. Fairy Tale Failure Frame. And then down in the top sellers, Morituri is not in here. Strike Force, so good for Geo to know that that's no longer in here. But we don't have any manga in the top sellers right now. However, I think highlights right now, I would say we got some good Spider-Man in here. The Michelini and Bagley Omnibus, Hellblazer by Jamie Delano, Volume 2, Flex Mentallo. This is a great little 4-issue miniseries that spun out of Doom Patrol by Morrison and Quitely. And Shade the Changing Man. I still haven't grabbed my copy, but I'm excited to get it in the near future. Okay, so it's awkward because I don't have anything to really talk about, you guys. So I'm gonna be relying on. I don't want to be that big. Okay, that's better. I'm going to be relying on the chat tonight, which is awkward for me because I get so distracted. Oh, hey, we got a super chat from Jaime. Awesome. Thank you so much. But yeah, so we're going to talk. I don't know. It's been a slow news week as far as like manga and stuff goes. And Gio sent me a few things that we can talk about. But I don't know. I've been busy with like reading stuff. I guess I can show you all a couple things that I hauled. Yeah, Anime NYC is coming up. I am prepping. I was just looking at the programming, like all the different panels to see what I wanted to make sure to go and catch. So I don't know which ones I'm going to go see. I might be busy for a lot of the con anyway, so I might miss most of it, but we'll see what happens. But I did get a couple of cool things this week. The first one being Sanda, and I just read the first volume last night. I think I had read the first chapter before. I feel like I read it like maybe for a show, like maybe Gio and I both read it and talked about the first chapter. But I'm not 100% sure. Whatever it is, I know I'd read something before, but obviously I'd read Beastars. I was very excited about this. And this was kind of the first really big license that Titan has gotten in a while. So this was cool to get, and it comes out next month. I don't remember which week, or I'm not aware of which week. I haven't double checked of next month. But if you're unfamiliar with Sanda, Paru Itagaki's ongoing series after Beastars, where basically she has a couple of classmates are the main characters at the beginning, and a girl is like interrogating the guy, and she's like, okay, just like out with it already. I know your secret. I know that you're actually like Santa Claus. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I know this, and this that you've done, and I know this, and I know that, and I know your family is whatever. And she's like, so I know you're related to Santa Claus. Like, you're the next coming of Santa Claus. And the dude's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, yeah, if you wear red, you'll transform. And she stabs him. Like, she pulls a knife and just stabs him. And she's like, so I'm forcing you to wear red. And in that moment, I'm like, man, to have the confidence, like, because if that was confidence, unmerited confidence, then she was definitely not going to be in a good situation. And neither was he, if we're being honest. But she was right, and he does transform. And he as soon as she stabs him and he starts bleeding out on his shirt, he transforms into, he transformed into that. He transformed into this dude. He's like naked in his boxers, and he has special powers because he's Santa Claus, and Santa Claus has powers. One power of which is that he's apparently flame retardant, which they explain away by saying, like, he makes a passing comment about like fires in chimneys and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But anyway, it's very funny. It's very like in line with Itagaki's like sense of humor. It's not a Shonen Jump manga. It's I don't remember which magazine. I think it's a Shogakukan title, so it might be from one of the Sunday magazines. No, I think it's Big Comic. I'm wrong on every account. It's Akita. I don't know what I'm thinking of. But I can tell you it's better for me to just go to the internet and double check myself. Akita Shoten in Weekly Shonen Champion. I'm the quality of the volume itself. It's like, if you have problems with Titan's books, it's the same as any other type. But I don't know, like, I think since their first few, not first few volumes, but some of their earlier volumes of like, what's it called? Kamen Rider and Atom, they've gotten better, like, because some of those, the glue was a little off, and so the binding felt a little tight while the pages, because they use thinner pages, so it doesn't have the same problem as that. They're definitely, while I still believe that they're using AI for the blurbs, like for the first volumes and stuff, I don't think they are using for the translation, unless like they're naming their translator AI Motoko Tamamura and Jonathan Clements, because those are the translators. So either they are using AI and hiding it, but I don't think they are, because it doesn't read as such. But I do think they are for the blurbs. Those first volume blurbs are always ridiculous. But yeah, it's good. It's not any better than most of the Titan books, and I am I do have every Titan book. I think I'm missing one right now just because I don't have it in hand just yet. But they also sent me, and this one already came out, Jan, volume 1, and I have volume 2 in the other room. That one's a early release. And this one, as you can see, is rather large. Will showed it off on a previous stream. And this is fantastic. I've read the first 2 chapters of this one. And this is, I don't know if anyone of the few people watching this right now read Ryuko, which was one of their earlier manga that was part of the like hard case imprint, but it's very similar in like style. It's a vengeance story. The description on the inside of the French flap, because this one has fancy French flaps, is Peking opera performer Yan Tiehua makes an emphatic return to the limelight 10 years after allegedly dying in prison. Now equipped with mysterious powers, she walks the blood-soaked path of vengeance. Detective Lei Ming-chi, who originally arrested Tiehua, is called out of retirement to dig deeper into the past and uncover the secrets of the supernatural. So yeah, it's a crime story. It's about vengeance. It's got supernatural stuff in there. It's really well illustrated. I am really enjoying it so far, having read about a third of the first volume, and I believe that it's only 3 volumes long, with a US cover price of $25. So for something of this size, just like the fact that it's in that 7x10 trim, showing a comparison between Jan and Sanda, I'm going to say, like, I think it's worth it. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm going to try and wrap this one up tonight and then get into that second volume. But yeah, I recommend it if you're into like crime stories and stuff like that. And if you're into crime stories and you haven't read Ryuko, which I mentioned a second ago, definitely check that one out as well. I'm trying to see like if I'm correct about Yan being 3 volumes long. Let me see. Chang Sheng is the creator. Author Chang Sheng. Yan. Yeah, 3 volumes. So yeah, it'll be 3 of these big paperbacks. They've done others in this larger size, that particularly as far as their manga line goes, they did Afro Samurai in this size, which is great because it's bigger than the old. I have the old Seven Seas ones. It's nice to have it in the bigger size. So whenever I see like, oh, they're doing this and they have oversized books like Ryuko, like the other one by that same creator, like Sherlock Holmes and Assassin's Creed, I'm like, man, why don't they use that? I guess they just want to produce more cheaply. But I don't know, I just feel like some of their series would really benefit from having the larger sized volumes, and especially in the case of Sanda, it would be nice to have it in a larger volume just so it's the same trim as Beastars. Gunsmith Cats, I wish that Will were here because he should be able to tell you immediately, but I think it's 3 of the current volumes, and then Burst will be 2 volumes. I don't know why I'm looking at the Wikipedia. That's not going to have the info I want. Let's see. Yeah, Gunsmith Cats will be 3 omnibus, and then Burst, I think, is 2 omnibus. So 5 in total for the 2 different titles. And that wraps up the entire franchise. So not too bad. I think I ordered my second volume. I'm still waiting for it to arrive from ye old sponsor of the show, IST. Yeah, no problem. So we do have a couple topics that I can bring up to discuss. Let me just pull up the links that Geo had sent. Geo wanted no, not that one yet. So he wanted to touch on a couple different things that popped up this week. So I'll cover those for him so that we don't have to miss and try to talk about it next week. Okay, so over at Anime News Network, Gio wanted me to talk about the Pokemon collaboration with Shonen Jump. So we saw a lot of pictures of like Luffy and Pikachu and stuff like that. They're pairing a bunch of the Shonen Jump characters alongside Pokemon characters. Here's a better image of Luffy with Pikachu. Is that a Mega Blaziken with Roboco and Chinatsu with Totodile? Oh, it has the names and stuff right there. I didn't have to guess. But it was a Mega. I was right on that. I haven't played a lot of the games of the Megas. Anyway, so the article reads, Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump magazine announced on Monday that it will collaborate with the massively popular, that's an understatement, multimedia franchise Pokemon for the combined 36th and 37th issue, which ships on August 4th. The Shonen Jump editorial team previewed the 3 weekly Shonen Jump and Pokemon collaboration illustrations, which include One Piece's Luffy with Pokemon mascot Pikachu, Me and Roboco's Roboco with Mega Blaziken, and Blue Box's Chinatsu Kano with Totodile. The official Twitter for the Pokemon franchise released images of Luffy with Pikachu, Roboco with Mega Blaziken, and Chinatsu Kano with Totodile. The illustrations are by original manga creators Eiichiro Oda, Shuhei Miyazaki, and Koji Miura, respectively, which is cool because we get, Oda drawing a Pikachu, which I'm not sure if he's actually ever drawn any Pokemon characters before. Yeah, I think I like the way that Miura's looks for Chinatsu and Totodile the most. Shout out Totodile being one of Gio's faves. But so I'm sure he'd be happy with me for saying that this is a good one. Or is the best one. The weekly Shonen Jump Pokemon collaboration issue is set for release on August 4th for 330 yen, about $2.22 US. Or if you're in the US, you can buy the issue of Shonen Jump for like $10 at Kinokuniya, I guess. So yeah, that's going to be available. Should already be available. So your local Kinos might be getting those issues in soon if you wanted a copy of it. Let's see. Gio also wanted for me to mention. I wish this would automatically go to this because it's like awkward with my screen or my face that big on the screen. Where did my thing go? Looking forward to Legends Z to A. Per Pokemon tradition, it's releasing near New York Comic Con. I haven't gotten any of the like non-mainline games in a while, and I haven't played any of those games even. Like I have them just so I can like be ready to play, and then I haven't played them since like I haven't played Sun and Moon and anything after that. Okay, this was the next one that he wanted to cover. No. Okay, this is the next one he wanted me to go over was Seven Seas licenses everything for Demon King Evologia, Laughter in the Sunshine, and 2 more titles. And this was last week. So I guess he didn't go over anything with last week's releases, but this week was 2 audiobooks. So not really going to go over that for this show, but the audiobooks were for I think 2 of the isekai titles. They're longer running. One of them was was it the Trapped in a Dating Sim? And then no, one of them was Failure Frame, and the Trapped in a Dating Sim was I think a little while ago. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's 2 isekai. I'm glad that the audiobooks exist for those that need them, but I don't really need them personally. Um, that sounds really selfish. I shouldn't have said it like that, but like I'm not the one that needs them, and but I'm glad that they're there for everyone that does. Laughter in the Sunshine by Fukimaru. This is coming out in May of 2026. This is a BL title. Taiyo Kiriyama knew he wasn't allowed to have pets in his apartment, but when he comes across an abandoned cat, he can't help but try to smuggle the sweet creature in. Unfortunately, he's immediately caught by the building manager, Asahi Taira. After Taiyo begs, Asahi agrees to let him keep the cat for a month while he finds it a home, but in exchange, Taiyo will have to become Asahi's errand boy. It's not an easy gig, but after getting to know Asahi, Taiyo finds that the other man has a hidden charm and begins to enjoy the time they spend together. While Taiyo's feelings for Asahi begin to grow, he soon learns that Asahi is in love with someone already. Can he help Asahi find his happiness and love, or will Taiyo's own emotions get in the way? And we get this cute illustration of the 2 guys holding hands with a cat in between them because cats are invasive like that. And the next one was Marriage to the Wolf, the Tale of an Interspecies Union. Oh, yeah, this was for BL Week. So all of them, or 801 is Yaoi Day. So all of these were BL titles. Marriage to the Wolf, the Tale of an Interspecies Union by Hana Inui for July 2026. Kaide, a young man from the rabbit tribe, is given the shock of his life when he learns he's been chosen to become the new bride to distinguished yet dangerous wolf family. Despite not wanting to marry, let alone marry a wolf, Kaede must go along with the plans in order to help his family and ensure they have enough supplies and food for the next 2 years. But can a rabbit survive being stuck in the wolf's den, or is Kaede destined to be sacrificed to the hungry-looking wolves? Then we get Remnant Beastmen Omegaverse. Dato and his younger sister Bella are 2 orphaned Omegas living in an orphanage. Because they're Omegas, the 2 are destined to be married off once their first heat comes around, but Dato can't stand the thought of losing his only family. And when Bella suddenly goes into heat, Dato learns that the priest hasn't been marrying off Omegas, but selling them off instead. Determined to keep his sister safe, Dato's only hope is to seek help from the mysterious alpha beastman named Judah. With everything on the line, is Dato making the right decision, or will the siblings find themselves in even more dire straits? And then the last one is Everything for Demon King Epilogia by Ayo Kajiwara for April of 2026. Toshiaki Ushito, better known as Gozu, is a social outcast. One day he's shot and killed, only to wake up inside the world of his favorite game. And right in front of him stands the very character he's always had a massive crush on, Demon King Epilogia, the final boss. But Epilogia hasn't come into power just yet. Still in a younger form, quietly shaken by loneliness, unable to hold back, Gozu blurts out, "I've fallen for you." And just like that, his passionate pursuit of the Demon King begins. So those were all of their announcements from last week. As James mentioned, it was Failure Frame and Annihilated and Most Notorious Talker. So those were the 2 new audiobooks from this week. These were the BL titles from last week. And one more thing, and this one's a bigger thing to talk about. The last thing that Gio left me with is, of course, about Viz adding this dealing with Mikadono Sisters as a breeze as a simulpub, but they've added the AI localization from Imaki. So it's apparently, I haven't looked at it myself to verify, but apparently it's the exact same translation that Imaki used. And of course, Imaki, we've talked about on this show before, is the they use AI to generate their translations on all of their stuff, and so there's a lot of issues that people have taken with this, which I'm not saying that's wrong at all. I take issue with that as well. Um, it says on here includes the phrase translation and lettering provided by Shogakukan. Um, Viz has not responded as of press time to ANN reaching out about that. So yeah, so that's a big one. The manga itself, it says centers on Yu Ayase, the son of Subaru Ayase. Yu's mother, Subaru, is herself gifted with beauty, athleticism, and intelligence, but Yu seems to have only inherited his mother's good looks and nothing else. When Yu is enrolled into a high school class, he is entrusted to the care of his mother's friend and moves to their house. There, he begins rooming with the three Mikadono sisters, who are all exceptionally talented in their own way, but have a weak side to them. Hirakawa launched the manga in Shogakukan's Weekly Shonen Sunday magazine in December of 2021. Shogakukan published the manga's 15th compiled book on July 4th. I'm wondering, like, they're probably gonna wind up getting a physical release because that's often what happens. And usually, every publisher uses a different translation for their physical than their digital release. So I would assume that they're not going to use the same translation. But in what happened here, um, I have a very sneaking suspicion that they haven't said anything because they're not exactly happy with the fact that they were made to use that translation. And I say that made to use that translation because a lot of times what happens, I'm not trying to like give benefit of the doubt to anyone in particular because I'm trying to like bend over backwards for anyone, but just knowing how stuff works with these things often, um, especially especially given like Viz is directly like partially owned by Shogakukan, a lot of times the licensors have very specific things that they make you do, like that they make the publishers do. And they're like, you have to do this, you can't do that, you have to release this, you have to do this like this. And even if you try and like get approval to get different things like different ways, they're like, no, it has to be like this. So given the relationship, I have this sneaking suspicion that they were like, this is the translation that you have to use. This is what we already have. This is what you have to use. Because otherwise, if there was something like, if it wasn't something very specific where they can't speak up, like in this case, speaking up is like kind of speaking out against the licensor, and it just causes issues with the relationship between the publisher, English publisher, and the Japanese licensor, and they don't want to cause those types of issues. They probably would have just come out and been like, hey, sorry, like, we pulled that and we're not going to do that anymore. Like, we don't intend on doing that kind of stuff. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess, what happens there. But it is often the case where licensors make these decisions and are very like, you have to do it like this. So we'll see what happens there. And if I'm correct in assuming that they will get a physical edition in the not too distant future, then we'll see what they do for that. We'll see if they. I'm assuming they don't use the AI generated translation, but I know there's a lot of publishers that are just openly against that, the AI stuff. Like there's not so much of a worry just yet, especially amongst, I would say, a lot of the independent publishers, with them going the AI route. A lot of them are very like staunchly like, no. Part of it is, of course, because of the widespread reaction, like people don't like it. But there is a lot of it where they're like, it's just not ethical. It's a lot of different sides to that. part of it is if we do this, like, we might save money on translators, but it's going to harm the product, and it's also going to harm our image in people's eyes, which is exactly what's happening here. So part of it is like they have their own ethical response to it, but part of it is the business side of that stuff. So that's what Gio left me with today to talk about, ending with the heavy one. And that's all I really have as far as like specific topics to cover. It was a really light news week, like I said. Yeah, this is true, and I guarantee you, even if they don't say anything about it, that they see it. They see a lot more of the response to these things than you might even believe that they do. Just knowing a lot of people, having a lot of friends in the industry, I mean, Will coming on here and sometimes talking about Dark Horse stuff, like, I think gives a little bit of an insight on how that goes. But like, I have a lot of friends in the industry, both in the manga and the anime side, and it's the same over there too. Like, where they're like, sometimes it's stuff where they're like, "Oh, we had to do this and people didn't like it, but like we can't do anything else. We're kind of, our hand is forced." And then sometimes they're like, "Oh, we shouldn't have done that. Like that wasn't a good thing." But they see that. It's the same with like recommendations or like requests for licenses and stuff like that. They see it. They just can't say anything about it. But yeah, that is a good thing with like the internet, as opposed to how things were pre-social media on the internet, or like pre-internet publication, where you didn't have that direct feedback. This is at least a good thing. And you can hear, there are samples of all the audiobooks on the website. I don't know about Yen, but I know Seven Seas does have samples. And in some cases they get professional audiobook narrators, because that's in their articles about the audiobooks. They'll usually say like, narrated by such and such, who is known for this, that, this, and that. And you can like look up their IMDb and all the stuff that they've done. In some cases, like with, I think it was Toradora, is narrated by one of the actors, the voice actors from the English dub of the anime. And then I wanted to go back because I missed Javier mentioning catch it. Well, I saw it, so I knew to go back. But mentioning that he's caught up to One Piece. Congratulations. Welcome to Elbaf. I know it's been a long journey, but it's a fun one. And we're in such a great point in the series right now. Currently, we're in watching the anime. We're in the Oden backstory. So 26 episodes solid of Oden.
Too long.
Too long. Well, I mean, what if you really love Oden?
What if I do really love Oden?
And
I
then,
don't know yet.
Yeah, maybe you'll really love Oden and want
How
more.
tragic is it out of 10?
I don't know. Like, it's not. I don't recall the same level of like right now. It's like the tragic backstory hierarchy is like, number one is Laboon and Brooke, but mostly Laboon. Number two is Sanji, especially after they expanded on it with like a million more layers in Whole Cake. And then number three, Robin. Did you have someone else after that? Living for the tragic backstories over here.
I'm trying to remember everybody's tragic backstory. I guess maybe Nami's would be under hers.
Yeah.
Nami was pretty tragic.
And then the one that the next one that's gonna come like after Wano, I think is gonna make it up there for you.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be a minute before we get there.
Regrettably, it's not Chopper.
Regrettably.
I love Chopper, but his isn't as tragic as some of his crewmates.
Oh, I just left my like messages with the gang up there. So sorry about that, but nothing bad though. It was just like me being like, okay, well, I'm alone.
Showing the people how everyone abandoned you.
Yeah, so y'all can see everyone turning tail on my poor ass. Anyway, so we're talking about tragic backstories.
I'm thinking Usopp's is low.
Yeah,
Zoro's is low.
yeah. A lot of the crews are not great. It wasn't. I feel like it, like for at its time, Choppers was really good,
Yeah.
and then like you keep going, you're like,
He's probably top 10.
yeah, like, oh shit. Like Robin's was like, oh god. And then, but then like Sanji's, because you start like Sanji's at the beginning is already kind of sad. It's not really so much his backstory as like his reaction to leaving Zeph was the part that's super sad. But then when you get to Whole Cake and you learn everything, that's when it's like, because they keep, it's like boom, boom,
Yeah.
just they keep running it at you every single time, because it's like intermittent throughout the arc. It's not all at once.
Yeah.
And every time it's like, how could they make this worse? Oh my god, they made it worse. But Laboon's backstory is so bad that like every time I even start talking about it, and like she was fucked up about it from meeting Laboon from like Reverse Mountain. And then I was like, it gets worse. Just give it about 500 episodes or like 400 episodes, whatever it was. And she's like, okay. And then we get around to it and meeting Brooke and everything. And she's like, oh my God, it got worse.
I think I was crying for like an hour after.
Yeah, we like just solid through like several episodes, just sitting there like,
I was still so fucked up by that backstory that when we got to Marineford with that big giant guy, I was still fucked up from
oh yeah,
to
yeah,
the point of crying about his stupid hat.
Yeah, she like residual sadness. That's a while later because Marineford was
Laboon and Brooks
Laboon and Brooks were in Laboon's full backstory with Brooke was in Thriller Bark. And then you have Sabaody, and then you have Whiskey Pete, or not Whiskey Pete, fuck, why would I say Whiskey? Sabaody and Amazon Lily, and then Impel Down, and then Marineford.
I don't know, man. I must have
So you,
it. But we also like speed ran that shit. We were cruising through episodes.
Yeah, we were very much cruising.
So I don't know if I was fucked up from Laboon, but I was still fucked up from something.
You fucked up from something, and you started crying about Oars Jr.
Because he just wanted a friend. And
Ace so he made me the hat.
I'm gonna cry right now. Maybe that one was just really sad to me. I'm trying to remember non-crewmates who had tragic backstories.
I know, like, as far as the sad parts, aside from backstories, like when Ace becomes a donut, you reacted to Luffy.
Yeah,
it was Luffy's reaction.
I had that spoiled.
Yeah, you can't get mad at me because I literally was like, do you plan on ever watching or reading One Piece? And you're like, no. But she did obviously start One Piece. Yeah, I got the One Piece Legos. I can show you all that.
Yeah, I think I already, since I knew it was going to happen to Ace, I wasn't really sad about it happening.
Right, but Luffy's
also the
sobbing
card spoilers.
Yeah.
Fire Fist Ace
dies on the battlefield. Let me catch up.
But Luffy's reaction did make me cry real hard.
Okay, Crunchyroll has already been caught with AI translations. Crunchyroll, even if it's not AI, their subtitles suck balls. Like, so a lot of the times when using Crunchyroll subtitles, they're just really poorly done. But specifically, we were watching Excel Saga, and the subtitles skip over anything that's like Actually, the subtitles for Excel Saga are wrong right out. Like I don't know if it's AI, but it's using like a text to or a speech to text type thing, talk to text. And so because of how like jumbled a lot of the words are that a lot of the characters, especially Excel, says, the subtitles are completely wrong. But not only that, anytime that there's any text on the screen, it doesn't get translated, which is a big problem for Excel Saga because Sumiyoshi speaks in caption boxes. So anything that Sumiyoshi says just doesn't get translated. And so I used to have Excel Saga on DVD a long time ago. I sold my individual DVDs for whatever reason. But I was like, oh, I just remembered this series out of the blue. And I showed her an episode and she's like, oh my God, this is so funny. And I'm like, we're going to have to watch it. But I'm not watching it with these shit ass subtitles and not knowing what Sumiyoshi is saying. So I bought a copy on Amazon, and I actually got 2 copies from Amazon because they fucked up on the shipping and it like didn't arrive when it said it had arrived. And like 2 days went by and it still didn't arrive. And so I messaged them and they're like, okay, well, here's another one. And that one, yeah, that came in. And then now I have 2. Well, I was going to give it to like, I was going to see if Chris or Dell wanted.
That's valid.
So when I hang out with my boys on Sunday, I'm going to see if one of my boys, I'm going to see if one of them wants it. But yeah, Crunchy is on my shit list for their subtitles. If I didn't have to use Crunchy right now to watch One Piece, I'd punch each of them in the tits and then cancel it. When I see them at Anime NYC,
it's on site.
It is on site. You too. You cite them as well.
I will also have it be on site. I will
double on site.
When we get there early, I'll track down where their fucking booth is.
Punch them right in the
right in the tit.
Anyway, that's my rant. Audible also has samples of the audiobooks. So yeah, you can find samples of the audiobooks all over the place. You can only do audiobooks of the characters have different voices. I know you don't read novels. I don't know how, but the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook has been great so far. You started that one. Did you finish it?
No, I couldn't. I like to listen to audiobooks at work, and I needed to pay attention to what was happening while they're like
likely story
building the world. Wow, while they're building the world, and I can't do it while I'm working. I can only listen to schlop while I'm working, like
schlop, like ghosties,
like ghosties, or
apparently
beach books, like thrillers.
Beach books?
That's what they're called, beach books. Like
books
people you take to the beach, like. They're nothing.
I think you're a psychopath if you take a book to the beach, honestly, unless you're planning on throwing it away.
I need to go back and finish listening to that book, though. I'm very interested in the premise.
So it's one. H. Field is saying that it's one act or one person reading it, but they're doing all the different types of voices.
That's my favorite kind of audio.
Yeah, I did when I was in college. I did a project for my I don't remember what the class was called, but it was like basically an audio recording class. And it was like record an interview and like use whatever. Like, I don't remember what the point of but the main thing was like record an interview with whomever. And I didn't want to bother anyone to like come out to campus to record an interview with me. So I did me interviewing Kermit the Frog.
Was it a good impression?
Kermit the Frog here.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I was able to do it well enough. Kermit the Frog here.
What grade did you get?
I probably aced it. I'm flying colors in all my media classes.
Hell yeah.
I'm a professional. Robin's Moment and Laboon always get me. Always. I'm good.
Went way too fucking hard.
I want to live. DCC Dungeon Crawler Carl is just a fun read to begin with. Author will be at New York Comic Con debating on getting a first book signed. That's cool.
That's fun.
Been enjoying volume 1 so far. That's awesome that he's going to be at NYCC. Insufferable Omnibus Collector. Don't sell yourself short. Find you completely sufferable. So I missed the whole much love, but I read Omar and gang talking about it. There's on Hatchet now, like, is trying to do social media stuff, and they were talking about all the much love, like you can put much love on the books. I think that's really funny. I'll have to catch up on that later, though. I just saw like a snippet of them talking about it. First book, In for a Wild Ride. Oof, that's why the Bozo site. That's why it's the Bozo site for a reason. The most Bozo thing about it was, I'll tell you what happened. What I guarantee what happened is the Amazon driver came and dropped it off somewhere and then marked it as delivered, but they said it was in the wrong place. And so the Amazon driver, basically the package was somewhere for a few days, but Amazon doesn't let you like report something as missing until it's been 2 days. And so by the time that it was 2 days, I told them, hey, it's missing. Give me another one. They're like, okay, cool. Like, no question asked. They sent another one and perler beads for her costume. And then by the time I wound up like ordering all that, literally the next day, the original ones arrived. And I was like, whatever, man, you can eat the cost of that extra one. It's wild. Remember when we used to actually translate shit on signs and paper and chalkboard, whiteboard? Yeah, it's dumb. I'm assuming you're talking about the Excel Saga anecdote that I mentioned. Do plan to look for older anime missing from my collection. Pretty good. My Kermit, I'm assuming, yeah. Can I sing Rainbow? I don't know all the words, but why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? And then Ernie from Sesame Street is like the same voice, but in a different tone. It's like, hey, Bert. You just got to stretch it a little bit. Now I'm caught up with all the comments. So yeah, Anime NYC will be, so next week we should have a normal show. I'm going to have to talk with Gio about how to do that week because he would definitely be on his own on that Thursday because all of us are going to be out at Anime NYC. Myself, Will, and what's up? Myself, Will, and Colleen will all be at Anime NYC that weekend. Jaime sent me a $5 for my impression of Kermit, but next week we should all be on and have a normal show. Snap, close my eyes when it's Kermit. Did not realize how similar Ernie and Kermit's voices until I pointed it out. Yeah, it's there's a lot of impressions. If you watch impressionists, they'll tell you like this, and this are all basically the same, but you just have to do this a little bit different, this a little bit lower. And that's like the only one that I'm really good at. I can do like and like characters like in that range, like squeaky character voices. Like I can maybe do Elmo, like Elmo's world, that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's pretty crappy, but it's okay. Only talk like Kermit the whole time. Predictions for Anime NYC. I think Kodansha they should announce. I don't want to say it with so much confidence that I get egg on my face when I'm wrong, but they should announce the sequel to the Fable. Because the Fable is wrapping up pretty soon and it would line up with their catalog. I don't know what else though I would say, like, I know the big ones are going to be them, Yen, and Seven Seas have announcements. So I don't know exactly what's going to come from each of them. I'm assuming like not a huge amount from Kodansha and Yen because they've already done a bunch of announcements. We'll see what happens with Seven Seas. They're always all over the place anyway. And then Denpa has a panel as well. So fingers crossed they either don't announce anything or it's like one thing that's not going to take them forever to do. Did anyone else get their Planets copies? Might be the highlight of my collection now that I've seen it in person. Mine has shipped, but I don't have it yet. But I'm definitely excited about it. I know, like, even after seeing all the videos and stuff, like Will has kept saying like this is way better in person than anything that you've seen. So I'm very, very excited. I did see that about Gene Bride Volume 2. I know that that's been a really popularly requested title. I don't know if there's like something specifically holding it back from being licensed. Sometimes there are things that happen. Sometimes it's just the publisher being like, that doesn't seem like it might sell. I don't know. Or maybe it's already licensed. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that's something that gets announced at Anime NYC, whether it be from Seven Seas or someone else. But we'll have to wait and find out, I guess. And yeah, it is getting an anime, so it seems like something that someone would want to jump on, but I don't know. And they already have Shujinko Nikki. So fun fact, I didn't know that Nikki meant diary until like last year. And I kept thinking there was just a lot of series that had characters called Nikki. And then I realized, because I was reading the translated titles for all these different titles, or for all these different series, it was like Shujinku Nikki, Future Diary, like, was another one. But there's a lot of them that have, and I was like, wait a second. And I definitely felt like a dummy when I found that out. Because usually I'm able to, through context clues and just osmosis, you learn a few words, but for some reason that one was not one that really clicked for me. So I apologize for my stupidity, I guess. But yeah, I agree. I think that's a title that should get licensed. Who even publishes? I don't even remember. I know I've looked at it before. No, Ikoku Nikki.
Oh. I was like, don't you have it on your shelf?
Yeah, I do have that on my shelf, but I mean, like, who publishes the Japanese edition? I don't collect One Piece cards. I bought a booster box of the original, the first set that came out, and I didn't keep up with them. I just, it's Shodensha. It's a Feel Young series. I didn't feel the pull rate was really bad. And so it didn't really make me, like, having a whole box, like getting a whole booster box and only getting like a couple of good pulls out of that entire box really turned me off from like trying to collect them. And I really don't play any card games. So I was like, just leave that one. I still have most of the cards that I pulled. Actually, no, I have everything. I haven't sold anything yet, but like one day I'm probably going to sell them to one of my friends is like friends with all kinds of different like shop owners. And every time I had like a bunch of stuff, I'm like, oh, I have toys I need to sell. He's like, oh, come here. My guy will get you a good deal. So I'm just going to probably do that again eventually. That's what I did with my Pokemon cards. Something that won't get announced at Anime NYC is One Piece. That manga will not get announced. Oh shit! No, Viz is not doing anything. I was like, what if they announce a hardcover edition? No, Viz is not going to be there. So One Piece will not get announced. And we brought up the One Piece cards. Had no clue until yesterday that those were things. Overheard someone talking about it at a Japanese goods manga store. Yeah, it's huge. Like, though that game seems like almost overnight, like got huge. And it's interesting because I think there's a lot of people that actually got into the franchise because they started into the cards, and they're like, oh, these cards are cool. I'm gonna check out the anime or the manga or whatever. So it's really cool that it's taken off that big. One Piece has exploded in the West, and if I was to go back and tell myself, 20 plus years ago when I started reading it, that it was going to be so huge as it was or as it is now, I wouldn't believe myself, because for years, I had nobody, no friends or anything that were into One Piece. So I was really on my own. And then, like, by the time I got to high school, I started meeting more people that read it, and it was fun to like actually have people to talk to while they were in like Water 7, and when they got into like Thriller Bark, and have people to like talk about the series and theorize every chapter. And I remember by the time like I graduated from high school, and I was like, oh, it's gonna end in like 10 years. And I specifically said something to a friend of mine about it, like, when the series ends in 10 years, then blah blah blah. And it's been way past 10 years, and it's still going. So that's fun. One Piece hardcovers would make them a lot of money, probably, especially if they look cool. I think so too. I had a decent idea for a design, like of them looking like a captain's log or like a navigator's log book. I'd like to, like, if I could use my Photoshop skills to like make a mock-up of what I think that they would look like, and see what people would think. I read somewhere there was a holographic first volume of One Piece, like SJ did a promo and had several Yes, so they did that with One Piece, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball Z. I don't remember exactly what books. Shaman King, maybe. They did it with a bunch of I think it might have been all the titles that were in the magazine. So everything that was like in the magazine got special edition first volume for, like, I think it was an anniversary or something like that. One Piece, also the first 23 volumes, the first prints had gold foil on the title and stuff. And when they reprinted them with the like East Blue Saga on it, they removed the gold foil. So those are out there. Those are sought after, but I'm going to be honest, like, if you are someone who wants those, don't spend a lot of money on them, because I promise you there are tons of copies out there. Especially of like the first several, there are tons of copies, because they literally printed them with that gold foil until they reached volume 24. There are also, I don't remember which series, I think it was Naruto, Bleach, and I know Death Note, and then maybe some others. They had special hardcover editions that came out. I don't remember the trim size. I think they might have just been regular standard trim size, but they were hardcovers with special artwork on the hardcover. Yeah, I think about this all the time. Like, we didn't have any merchandise. I remember when I was a kid and like I first started getting into One Piece. Number one, Googling One Piece in like 2004 just yielded swimsuits. So I had to be like One Piece manga, and even then, you barely got anything. I would go to the Toy Wiz website, and they had some One Piece toys that were like from Japan, and it was through the recent stuff in Japan, which they were in Skypiea in the anime at the time that I did this. And so no, they weren't in Skypiea. It was in Alabasta. They were in Alabasta in the anime, and it was an action figure of Ace. And that's how I got spoiled on the fact that Luffy had a brother, was because of an action figure that I found online. That was crazy. And then I read that like however much later. Yeah, I don't. My rule specifically, I do not spend over cover price. I have probably a handful of examples where I have spent over cover price on something, and there's like many reasons why not to. Like, of course, number one, I don't want to spend more than I have to on something. Like, spend as little as possible when it comes to the like something that I want. But the main reason why is because so often I've seen people like just buy a book for over cover and then soon thereafter be like, oh my god, it got reprinted, or like, oh man, I found a copy for a cheap price somewhere. I'm like, oh my god, like, and I don't want that to happen. I also like, it's like a challenge. If it's a rare thing, then I'll take it as a challenge to find the whole series for undercover price. Oh, sorry, spoilers. Spoilers about Ace. Before I wrap up, because I think I've covered everything, I'm going to grab. I'll do my best to show the One Piece Legos for those that are interested. I got 2 of the sets that have come out. So the main one is the Mary. Got the Going Mary, and this is based on the live action, so the characters do appear more similar than to their live action interpretations, but I think it's fine. But here's the Going Mary. It's like 1,370 pieces and $140. So the price point is just slightly high, like $3 too high. If you go by the metric of like, um, if you go by the metric of was it 10 bricks a buck or dollar or whatever. There is a Shanks minifigure. I'll show that in a second. Did Gio not do previews last week? I thought he did previews for this month. I'm gonna have my buyer's guide up like tomorrow. So yeah, 140 is a good price for this. Like, if the that's like the going rate. Like, most of the One Piece sets are actually cheaper than the typical rate right now, as far as like number of bricks to dollars. Um, of course, it was cheaper in the past, but like, inflation is going to do that. But yeah, this is very well priced for what it is. Anyway, so we've got the 5 minifigures that come with this. We've got Luffy, and he can have his captain seat right up here. That moves a little bit. I've got Usopp up in the crow's nest. I've got Zoro. He's just kind of, I guess, training, and he's got a special piece to hold the sword in his mouth. It kind of goes around the minifigure neck, and I put him right there because there's I'm trying to angle it. Booze right there. There's a bottle of booze and a glass, so he is with his drink as he tends to be. You can lift this part off, and underneath there's like a little kind of cabin that you can access. If I tilt this too much, then things are going to fall out. There's a cannon as well on there that does shoot out of the front. I've got Nami at the back. She's navigating at the helm of the ship, and then you've got her tangerine trees as well. And then this part actually comes out, so she's going to be floating there in a second, but it's got kind of her little stash in the back there. And then you can pull off this entire back part. I'm not going to do that right now, but there's the kitchen and a little seat and a table, and then I have Sanji heading up to bring Nami a little treat.
As he should.
As he should. And then in the middle of the ship, you have this little box that comes out. It's like storage. See, there you go. Usopp just bit the dust. And in here, we have a bunch of food for the crew, mostly for Luffy. And I got one other set because it was the only one that they had. Actually, they did have the Barat, or not the Baratie, the Arlong Park, but not when we went back. So this is the this is Party's bar. And it's got baby Luffy with Shanks, and I kind of recreated Shanks giving Luffy the hat. I removed his arm for authenticity, and there's a really crappily put together little gum fruit. And my favorite part of this is that these sets come with wanted posters, random wanted posters with each set. The Mary comes with 4, and then this little set came with 1. So we got Buggy out of this little set, and the other 4 all came from that one. And this set has this wall that you can put them all on. So if you collect all 8, then they fit. I'm just missing Luffy, Shanks, and Gold Roger. So those will complete the little collection right there. And yeah, there's aside from those two, the biggest set is the Baratie, which is like $300, 300 plus or something. And it comes with like 10 minifigures, I think including Garp, Kobe, Helmeppo, Mihawk. It has Mihawk's little coffin boat and all that stuff. There's Buggy's. It's got a little thing that recreates like his scene where Luffy is in the tank and Zoro is on the spinning wheel. And it's got different versions of Luffy, Zoro, and Nami, I think, is a different version there. And it has Buggy. And then there's also what's the other set? Oh, Arlong Park, which has a crying Nami, as well as Arlong, Long Arm Luffy, and Chu and Usopp. I think that's all the minis. Do I find myself getting more and more into Gekiga recently? Why or why not? No, just to piss you off. And with that, I think we're done here. Let me do one more in stock trades sponsorship thing right here. I guess I won't pull up the whole thing, but instocktrades.com sponsor the show for all of your manga needs and comics and more. You can go to instocktrades.com, except for right now, Viz Media and Yen Press stuff. You're not going to find the new things until they work everything out with distributor issues. But in the meantime, they're a great place I get all of my Kodansha stuff there, which means that things like the upcoming Mobile Suit Gundam hardcover and the Vinland Saga hardcover volume 8, both of those are out this month. So you can get those for really steep discounts at IST, and there's free shipping after $50 if you're here in the US. They also are great to buy all of your Dark Horse hardcovers. It's where I ordered my planets from. That should be arriving in the next couple days, and where I plan to buy all of my Lone Wolf and Cub and Old Boy hardcovers from as well as the Astro Boy hardcovers that they haven't formally announced, but it definitely got leaked, but Will won't tell us if it's actually happening or not. But when it does happen, I'm going to be buying mine at instocktrades.com. Anyway, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry for the awkwardness of this show and me just being alone here, but we make do. And next week we should be normal, at least with Gio and myself. on the show next week, and then after that we'll figure out what we're going to do for Anime NYC week. I don't want to leave Gio on his own again because that always sucks and doesn't really seem fair. So we'll figure it out. Anyway, thank you again, everyone, for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out.